Hello, and welcome back to the studio. I'm Dr. Wiggo, and today it's the studio, the Mac Studio, the M3 Ultra Mac Studio. Yeah, I went ahead and got one. You knew I was gonna as soon as you watched the last video, which I will link up here. So what I'm gonna do is, as always, first I'm gonna tell the story about why I bought it. And this one's a little longer because it's a lot of convoluted stuff and it involves PCs and other things, and it's complicated, but I'll explain it. And I'll also explain why I'm doing this today instead of next week when I was supposed to, and that's another story, which will be in the story of why I bought it and how it got here. Then in the chapter after that will be the actual unboxing, which isn't much of an unboxing. It'll take like a minute. Then I'm going to go downstairs and install this in my office, but I'm not going to film that because my office is a disaster area because I was getting ready for the new Mac Studio, but I thought it was coming next week. It's not ready. The place is an absolute horror show, so I'm not going to shoot down there. But after I get it all set up and run some tests, I'll come back up here, give you my first impressions, and tell you how fast it renders in DaVinci Resolve, which is my whole real reason for buying it when you get right down to it. I want faster rendering, and this is the fastest rendering I can get, I think. We'll find out. So why did I buy an M3 Ultra Mac Studio when in my very last video, again, which I'll link up here, I specifically said no one needs an M3 Ultra Mac Studio? Well, not technically true. If you need one, you know it. The people doing the large language models and AI and scientific stuff and the people that need 512 gigabytes of memory, they know who they are, and that ain't me. Well, then why did I buy it? So this is where the story gets a little convoluted. So I was using a PC with a 3090 to do all my DaVinci Resolve stuff until I got the Mac Mini, and it was so much snappier that, especially in the editing process, it didn't render faster, but it was way snappier in using it. So I started thinking maybe I ought to use the Mac Mini, and I have been doing that since that video. I have been doing all of my DaVinci Resolve editing. All the last several videos you've seen have been completely done on the Mac Mini, and I've been very happy with it. But it renders slower. My 3-year-old PC with a 3090 is faster, and that just rankled me. Well, for a long time I was considering waiting for the 5090 to come out, which it finally did, and getting a new PC with a newer processor in the 5090 and get the fastest possible video editing. Except in the meantime, Windows has just gone from bad to worse for me. I was having horrible problems. My PC will not run for more than like 24, 48 hours before it just craps out and reboots for no reason with no error messages. And I'm running Windows 10, which is reaching end of life this October. So I'd have to go to Windows 11, and I've looked at Windows 11, and it's just horrible. Most of the things I like about Windows 10, they've taken out in Windows 11. So the PC was not a viable upgrade path for me. And the Mac Mini's been doing great. And then I saw this thing, and I went, well, here's the thing. That PC upgrade with a 5090 was probably going to cost me between $6,000 and $7,000. Guess how much this costs? Yeah, you got it. Just about $6,000 with tax and everything. Because I had to get the upgraded M3 Ultra chip with the 80 GPU cores, so I'd have the very fastest rendering, which was another $1,500. Now, the good news is 96 gigabytes is the base memory in the upgraded M3 Ultra Mac Studio, and that's fine for me. And a 1 terabyte hard drive is fine because, as you know if you've been watching the channel, I've got buku Thunderbolt 5 drives and enclosures. So I got all the drive space I could ever want. Thunderbolt 5, very fast. Oh, and this guy has more Thunderbolt 5. By upgrading to the M3 Ultra, you get 2 more Thunderbolt ports. So now I have 6. And all these docks I've been buying, that was supposed to be the video today, by the way, another Thunderbolt dock. Yeah, it'll be next week. I kind of justified it in my head. Now, I want credit. I did not order it right away. I thought about this for days and days. And so when I finally got around to ordering it, my ship date was March 17th, which is Monday. And I went, perfect. I'll have the whole week, spring break. This week was spring break, to get ready and get the office set up and do all that stuff. But first I had to get all my files off of my Windows PC to move them over to the Mac. Oh, that was exciting. I have terabytes and terabytes of files in encrypted volumes on Windows. To get those over to the Mac, I have to unencrypt and copy out the files, then move them over to the Mac, and then put them back onto encrypted volumes on the Mac. So that took days, literally days, because, I mean, we're talking many terabytes of files. So imagine my surprise when Wednesday afternoon, I find this sitting on my doorstep on March 12th, which is the first day they were available, and I was, again, supposed to get mine 5 days later on Monday. I got it on Wednesday. I'm not ready. So I wasn't ready, and so, in fact, it's been sitting here in this box for a couple of days because I'm still trying to get the PC stuff moved off. I haven't yet. That's why I won't be filming down there when I'm setting this up. I will report back how it went, but I don't want you to see, oh, it's just a disaster area. I've got wires hanging everywhere and things hanging up because I'm going to have to recable everything. I have to move the PC because this is going to sit where my PC currently sits. And I didn't have time to move that yet. I know, first world problems. So that's why I bought it. Oh, wait, when I finally went to order it and put it in my bag on the Apple store, I was sitting there looking at the price and going, that's a lot of money to shell out all at once. And they had this little thing, 0% financing, blah, 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 for 12 months. But you have to have an Apple Card. I don't have an Apple Card. When it first came out, I applied and was rejected. Even though I had an excellent credit score, I was told that my outstanding debts were too high and blah, blah, blah. And then over the intervening years, I paid down a lot of those debts. And so I applied again a while back. Still got denied. This time it was, I think it was amount of available credit was too high. Because I've been paying off my credit card, so I have all this available credit that I'm not using. But I guess Goldman Sachs is afraid I'll run out and use it. So I'm sitting there going, well, I'll tell you what. I'll click on the apply, and if they approve me for the 0% for 12 months, I'll buy it, and if they don't, I won't. Clearly, they approved it. So I got this for 0% interest for 12 months, so I could afford it. I'm not taking a big hit to my bank account right away. It's going to be over time. I bought one. Yeah, it wasn't a long story. But now let's move into the unboxing. What's in here? I think you know what's in here. Okay. Shh. Man, this thing's heavy. See, and on this side, there's a picture. On this side, there's a picture of the back. But we put it down this way. Open the box up. Apple's packaging. You got to give it to them. And here's the little beastie. We'll get right back to him. Here's the honking power cable. It does draw a lot of power. Nowhere near a PC with a 5090, but it does draw power. And then up top, we have the little booklets. Let's get this out of the way. And we have probably the most minimal Apple booklet of all time. Here's just a picture of it with all the ports labeled. That's it. They don't do stickers anymore, eco waste. But wait, because I'm going to have 2 Macs on my desk, because I'm keeping the Mini, because it's a great little machine, I'm going to have 2 keyboards, and I'm going to need 2 mice, which I'm doing now with the PC, except the PC keyboard is gigantic, and the mouse is, so it's going to be better, but I'm going to have to be able to tell them apart. So for the Mac Mini, I went and bought a mini Magic Keyboard, which we might as well just quickly take out of the box. Slide it on out. I have a full-size Magic Keyboard. Oh, it comes with a little cable. I have a full-size Magic Keyboard, which I'm currently using on the Mini, which I will move over to this. And then I'll put this on the Mini. Well, I can't stand it. I'm just going to tear it off. I'm sure there's an easier way to get this off, but oh, and look, even the keyboard comes with a little tiny documentation. A little thing. Oh, and here's the manual. Tells you what the keys do. Well, that takes care of the keyboard situation. Now, I didn't want to have 2 identical Magic Mice, so I bought a Magic Trackpad. I'm not sure I'm not sure which one I'm going to use on which just yet, because I had a trackpad on my old iMac from 20 years ago. Well, this is a cute little thing. Oh, wait, this time I can see the little flap. And another little cable, again, so I can leave it plugged in all the time. And some more little booklets, about as useful as the ones for the keyboard. So that's everything I need. Now, let's look at this guy. Well, that's very satisfying. It's a heavy little devil. I don't have the numbers with me. I will put them on the screen somewhere. So here's the front with the 2 Thunderbolt 5 ports and the SD card reader, which I may use from time to time. If you've watched my gear videos, you know that in these 2 cameras, I'm using the CF Express Type A cards, which of course will not fit in here. Maybe I'll switch back to SD cards. Now, around on the back, we have the 4 Thunderbolt 5 ports, 10 gigabit Ethernet, and that'll be important later. Remember, I also upgraded the Mac Mini to 10 gigabit Ethernet for $100. So I think I'm going to be getting a NAS. So more videos to come. The power, 2 USB-A ports, which is one of the reasons I've been needing to buy these docks, because I have a lot of legacy stuff on the PC that's USB. I could buy new cables, but a lot easier to have USB-A. And then, of course, the HDMI out, which I will use to go to my monitor. So now, for at least for a while, I will have the PC on the display port on my monitor, the Mac Mini on HDMI 2, and this on HDMI 1. And then we have the headphone jack on the back this time. And look, a power button that you don't have to lift up the computer to play with. Then on the bottom, you got an etched-in Mac Studio. Designed by Apple in California, assembled in Vietnam. That's how they get around the tariffs, if there will be any, and I think there already are some. I think Apple got exempted anyway, but anyway, they put these together in Vietnam, so they didn't come here from Vietnam, so Trump hasn't announced any Vietnam tariffs, so we're good to go. Oh, it looks like, is that a Kensington lock? Man, that's gone a long way. I remember when they first came out with these, like in the 80s, the Kensington lock things. So that is my M3 Ultra Mac Studio. I like it. It's pretty. It's going to take up way less space on the desk than the PC, which is taking up a whole thing, and this will just be sitting up there, and I'll have room for the little docks next to it. Yeah, this is going to work out. And in a future video, maybe next week, certainly the week after, I will actually have it all set up, and then I can shoot in the office and show you my new desk setup, which will be way cleaner than it is now. Although I may still have the PC involved. I may put that in. We'll see how it goes. But you can look forward to that. Subscribe. So that's it for the unboxing. Again, wasn't much. But now I'm going to go downstairs and do my very first Migration Assistant installation, because I want to move over all the settings and everything from the Mac Mini onto this guy, because I want everything set up exactly the way I've been using it on the Mini. And then later maybe they'll diverge. But for now, I want everything to come over exactly the way it is. We'll see how well that works. So I'm going to do that. That's going to take probably a while, but I'll be able to use Thunderbolt 5 cable to connect the two. So that should be way faster. And then I'll be sure to get DaVinci Resolve installed and authenticated and give it a product key and everything so that I can run some tests. On the same file that I was using in the test with the Mac Mini, I will do that again. So I'll have a chart when I come back up of how this performed against the Mac Mini and the MacBook Pro, M3, and all these other things, and the PC. I'm going to go away now, and I'll be back, not right away, hopefully shortly. We'll see.
5 hours later.
And I'm back. It's only been about 5 hours, but it wasn't all Apple's fault, although some of it was. It took me about 30, 45 minutes to just get everything set up and plugged in and moved around. I took a picture with my phone to illustrate why I didn't want to film it, and when you look, it's horrible. I'll fix that in the coming weeks. So when I finally do a review of the M3 Ultra coming up, I'll have it all set up and everything will be pretty and all the wire. Well, don't fault me for my cable management, but it'll be better than what was in that picture. So here's what happened. I plugged it in, fired it up, and it needed a system update because there was a later version of Sequoia. So I had to wait for that. That was about 20 minutes. I had to reboot. Then I went through the setup and I chose transfer files from another Mac. And I plugged in a Thunderbolt cable. Everything looked like it was going to go great. I started up the migration assistant and it just hung up. And I did a search online and they said, yeah, it does that. Just quit and start over. So I went back and started over. Only the second time, while it started working right away, it was using Ethernet and not the Thunderbolt cable. So it was very slow and it said it was going to take like 15 hours to move all my stuff over. So I reset it again. And the third time was the charm and everything transferred over fast. I took a picture of the screen, which I'll throw up here. It was going like 1,000 megabytes a second. It took about 15, 20 minutes tops. I left the room because it said it was going to take like 25 minutes. And when I came back like 10 minutes later, it was done. So I don't know how long it actually took. But it was very speedy and everything came over. DaVinci Resolve was there and I went in and authorized it and put in my license key. And I did the test that I cared about. I used the same file that I used in the M4 Pro Mac Mini test with DaVinci Resolve. And if you recall from that, in that video, I said it was a 20-minute video. It's actually a 12-minute video, which makes these numbers I'm going to put up really look much worse. Because it's a 12-minute video, and on the Mac Mini M4, the base model, it took almost 10 minutes to render. So a 12-minute video took 10 minutes to render. On the Mac Mini with the M4 Pro, it took 9 minutes and 11 seconds. So still almost real time. On my PC with the 5950X and the 3090, it was 6 minutes and 47 seconds. So about half the actual length. And the MacBook Pro with my M3 Max rendered it in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And then I rendered it on the M3 Ultra. Yowza! 1 minute and 58 seconds. 2 minutes to render a 12-minute video. That's why I bought it. That's exactly why I bought it. I can't imagine that a PC with a 5090 is going to be that much faster than that. I mean, how fast can it go? I am very happy with this purchase. Yes, it was just over $7,000 with Apple Care and tax. Tax is high here. And the new keyboard and the new trackpad. New trackpad works very well, by the way. But again, a PC with a 5090 was going to cost in the same ballpark. Might have been a little cheaper. But then I would have been running Windows. And Windows 11, which I really don't like. Windows 10 is bad enough. But Windows 11, like you can't move the taskbar anymore. It's only at the bottom. And I have an OLED monitor, so I need to be able to move things around. Like I can on my Mac. So yes, the Mac Studio is working wonderfully. It is extremely fast. No, I didn't run any benchmarks. If you want benchmarks, go find some of these other videos. In fact, I'll link a couple of them down below where people have run Geekbench and all that kind of stuff. And yes, there's a bit of complaining because, again, the M3 Ultra, the single-core performance is worse than the M4 Max version of the Mac Studio because the M4 Max has a faster single-core performance. But I have 32 cores, 28 of them being performance cores, and only 4 of them being efficiency cores. Only 4. And of course, the 80 GPU cores, which got me my sub 2-minute render of the file, of the 12-minute file. It works. The setup was pretty easy. I just popped off my Thunderbolt 5 drives off of the Mini and moved them over, and everything picked up. It was smooth sailing. I was very, very impressed with the ease of transitioning from one Mac to another once you get the migration assistant to work. And that took 3 tries. But on the 3rd try, it used Thunderbolt. I'm just very, very pleased. It's a great little machine. It's cute. I mean, again, from my picture, you can see it's in a big clump of wires right now. And it'll stay in a clump of wires because I have to plug a whole lot of stuff into this. I have a USB printer. I have all sorts of other USB devices, all the things attached to my PC, like my webcam and my microphone and all that got to come over. So I'm going to need the ports. So I'm still going to do another Thunderbolt hub/dock next week. because the one I have, the OWC, while it's great, it doesn't have very many USB-A ports. And one of the ones I'm looking at that I'll be unboxing probably next week has a lot more USB-A ports. So with the expanded number of ports, I think I'm going to do just fine. I'm happy with it. People can complain. If you're buying it because you need the power of the 32 cores and the 80-core GPU, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Yeah, an M4 Ultra would have been a little faster. But how much faster? We don't know. And there may never be an M4 Ultra. Or if there is, it's probably going to be in the Mac Pro. All I know is this computer can last me for years, because with this kind of render speed, it's going to serve my needs for many years to come. I don't have to get the next Mac Studio. Although, you know me, I probably will. Yeah, the M3 Ultra chip, while it's weird and dang, like I talked about in that video, it works, and it works really well. It's very fast. It's a great machine. I'm glad I bought it. I think it was worth the money. And now I just have to come up with my monthly payments for the next 12 months so I can pay it off. Good Apple. So that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time, probably with a Thunderbolt 5 hub. Bye-bye. I'm going to go start working on the Thunderbolt 5 hub and cleaning up that cable mess. Thanks for staying to the end. Bye-bye.